Hey guys, it's Alex. I am just getting things set up here. You guys can see me and can hear me as you guys are coming on. I believe the chat is going. This is the first time I've used this software, Webinar Jam, before. So this is going to be interesting how this all works together. But go ahead and message that you can hear me. Okay, I see loud and clear, Alan. That's awesome. Thanks. Frank, yep, can hear you. Awesome. Okay. Yay. Okay. See you guys. Cool. 5 out of 5. All right. Awesome. We'll wait for some more people to come on the line here. We've got people filing on here, which is cool, which is awesome. And we're going to get started with this. I'm going to go through or show the screen here. And tell me if you can see the screen. All right, can you see the screen? Okay, cool. You can see the presentation. Good, 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 good. Awesome, awesome. Awesome. Okay, cool. Very good, very good. Awesome. Okay. Well, let's see here. I'm going to switch back to the. All right, man. Guys, it's awesome that you're on tonight. This is a first big webinar for me using a platform like this, so I'm really excited about it. Virtual wholesaling is something that I really developed my business based around it. And one thing I want to clear up is that virtual wholesaling, it can be done locally, okay? So don't think of this as something that you have to be over in California and flipping properties over in New York, or you'd be in Florida and flipping properties in Michigan. Now, that is definitely possible, and I'll show you some deals that I've done that are definitely out of state. But you can virtually wholesale deals locally, and that's really the true business model that we are looking for. So I am going to mute the chat here just because that can get distracting with everybody on here. But we are going to get started with this. This is something I'm really, really excited about because you can use these principles from a virtual standpoint, but you can implement them locally. So let's take a look and get started here. I'm going to share the screen. As we share screen back and forth, I'm going to have to market domination. That's what this is all about. Being able to go into any market across this beautiful country that we have and go in and learn to pull out big checks out of any major US market in 90 days or less without leaving the comfort of your home. And yes, that is 100% possible. And it's possible not from a standpoint of trying to sell you something that's unbelievable or crazy or out of the ordinary. But when you look at this and how we approach this from a very scientific standpoint, you will see that it is definitely possible that you can make this work. So what we're going to look at tonight is how to select the best city. I'm going to reveal the top 9 virtual wholesaling cities, or the hot markets right now, that you can take a look at if you're looking at dipping into different markets across the country. You will be pretty amazed at the list that is on here. And perhaps you're in some of the cities that are here. But we're going to look at how to locate the best city and then how we locate the hottest cash buyer zip codes within that city, okay? So you have to look at this as we are going over we're taking a overview of the area, and then we're niching it down to the best possible zip codes. And if you want, you can even niche it down to the best possible areas within those zip codes, okay? So it's all about identifying the patterns that are going on inside the market, as well as the patterns within the patterns, like I'm going to show you here. Pretty cool. And then what we're going to look is the top 3 marketing channels to use, even if you have a tiny budget, so you can get started finding properties today. We'll also look at how to find boots on the ground, people that you can trust. One thing I say about the virtual wholesaling business is that there are 3 different components to it. One of is marketing, the other is having good people that you can trust, and the other is outsourcing and delegation. But finding boots on the ground and people that you can trust is very important to making this work. We'll talk about how to make the offer and lock up the contract over the phone, and how you can do that with a script and presenting it the correct way. We'll also talk about how to find the best title company to help close your deal. And we'll also talk about getting floods of buyers to your property ASAP, or being able to find the right kind of people that are going to be looking to take a property off your hands. We'll talk about showing the property and getting the contract signed by the buyer, and then picking one of the 3 funding strategies to close your deal and get paid. You guys excited about this? I'm so glad that you guys are on the line here. This is something that's exciting for me. Like I said, this is the first time doing a big webinar like this, and I'm super excited to have you guys. So a lot of you know me from my Facebook group, and perhaps you saw this photo floating around the internet. But yeah, this is me, my wife, and my 4 small kids. And this is my why. This is why I do what I do. Okay, so if you've got a family, you know that family is the most important thing in the world. And being able to spend time with them anytime you want is priceless. In fact, that is more valuable to me than having all the money in the world, if you want to put it that way. It's being able to have the control over your time to spend time with your family or do whatever you want. So that's Eric and Ethan and Ella right here, and little Eli over here. We went on a really awesome vacation to the Turks and Caicos. This was for my wife and myself's 10-year wedding anniversary, and it was a blast. And that's my why there, right there. That's why I do what I do. And I love my family, and I love being able to spend time with them. All right, let's talk about my real estate investing operation now as it speaks. So I've got this picture here. Okay, this was a small subdivision that we did. It's about 4 houses. This is a picture of 2 of them. And right now, we've got one that's on the market, or one that we're getting ready to close on with a new buyer. And then the other one is still waiting to be completed under construction. And then the 4, the other 2, we're getting ready to get those built out. So my business, my real estate investing business, has led me to the point where now I'm doing small land development as well as new construction. And my goal is to take every lead that I get and make the most of it. So I do deals that are regular wholesale deals. I'll do renovations or rehabs. I'll do the mix, which is called the wholesale deals, where you're doing a mix of a wholesale as well as a retail, and trying to maximize the deal and get the most that you possibly can from it. Because we're in a hot market right now, you can absolutely do that. You can take a wholesale deal, and if it's livable, you can pop it right back on the market, and you can make your fees that much bigger because you're opening it up to the retail market as well. So I do anywhere between 8 to 10 deals a month on the wholesale side. I've got 15 different new construction projects going on right now, and some renovations as well are sprinkled in there. I think we've got 4 or 5 that we're working on. So all of this, though, has come from my ability to look into a market and find where the hot activity is. Because still, even though, yes, I've got all this stuff going on, I don't go and market in areas where my likelihood of getting a deal is very low. I stick to the hot areas and the hot pockets, and that's where I'm going to show you guys to look. So a little bit more about me. Like I said, you guys know me from wholesaling houses full time. I also have a brand, 1-800-FAIR-OFFER.com. I'm not sure if you've seen that, but it's an awesome brand because there are a lot of people out there that want a fair offer, right? So when you go to somebody's house or you're talking to a seller, the thing they say is, oh, I just want a fair offer. So back in 2013, I had the opportunity to acquire the 1-800-FAIR-OFFER phone number as well as the domain. And we have licensees all across the country, and it works really well. In fact, yesterday I actually got a lead out in Washington. Remember, I'm in Virginia, and the seller was selling because they're actually, unfortunately, on their way. Well, actually, what happened was the friend of the seller, because the actual seller is going to be going to jail, and was trying to help him get rid of this property, and it's worth over $500,000. They're asking $275,000. You know, it's a example of a virtual deal. So the cool thing is, with that brand, I can reach out all across the country because the website ranks nationally, as well as the phone number is very easy to remember from anybody that's marketing it. So I've got that. I've got the faircashoffer.com brand. That's locally. That is what I operate my pay-per-click under, and have a lot of organic web traffic that goes to that page, because it's just, again, everybody wants a fair cash offer. So the fair offer, fair cash offer is the way I market myself locally as well as nationally, and it works really, really well. I'll show you a little bit about my pay-per-click as we move on into the to the webinar here. But the other thing as well is Velocity Capital. Now, I work with Sean Terry in the Velocity Capital company, and that is a transactional funding business that he and I partner on. And what's cool about that is that we can offer transactional funding to investors. So if you have a property that you have under contract for $50,000, and you are looking to sell that property for $60,000, and you have somebody that is willing to pay $60,000, and you need to close both sides of it, both sides of the deal, the A to B and the B to C, you can use Velocity Capital, and you will be able to get we'll be able to fund that deal on a transactional basis, and you don't have to bring any money to the table. So that's an awesome thing I've been able to be part of, as well as the Real Estate Investing Mastery podcast with Joe McCall. We have over millions, 3 million downloads, and that podcast has been a lot of fun. We've been doing that since 2009. And we do it, I would say we're doing it every week and releasing new content every week. And that's just been great as well. So just some places you might have heard of me. I would think maybe Wholesaling Houses Full Time, the Facebook group is the main way. But just to give you a little bit more about myself. So, all right, let's look at an example wholesale transaction. Okay, so a lot of people want to know, what is a wholesale transaction, or how does it work? Or, I keep hearing about it in Wholesaling Houses Full Time, or I see it all over the internet or websites and things like that. But here is a perfect example, okay? So downsizing was the distress on this particular property. So in my business, what I do is I send out a lot of direct mail that's targeted to the areas that are most likely to have a to have a property that's going to fit the criteria of what we're looking for. This particular property was a seller that called off one of my postcards. I actually went out to this property myself and met with the seller. She had a daughter that was living in the property, using it as a rental and not, or was living there and not paying rent. So this poor lady was paying the taxes and the insurance on this property, even though she didn't owe any money on it, but she was paying that for her daughter to live there. And she had a live-in boyfriend, and it was just, as you can tell, you've got the couches on the front lawn and the cars all over the place. But the crazy thing is, this is an awesome neighborhood. This property is just awesome. And it's perfect for wholesaling, because if you could find a property that is the ugly house of the neighborhood, if you will, the opportunity there is huge. So this seller responded to my marketing. I actually met with the seller. She did not accept my offer on the first try. I followed up with her over and over and over again. And it was probably, I remember this deal because what happened was that I was like, I don't know if I want to call this seller back one more time, because I've been calling so many times. But I called her up one more time and I said, listen, I just wanted to let you know I'm still here with the offer. I know you were trying to work things out with your contractor and stuff. She said, oh yeah, I already sent the paperwork back, or I was waiting for you to send me the contract. And I said, what? Wait a second. She said, yeah, I just got off the phone with so-and-so, and he said he was going to be sending me the paperwork. And I was like, whoa, no, you're talking to one of my competitors. I said, remember, you're dealing with Alex here, and nobody else. And she was like, oh, I'm so glad you called me, because I did want to go with you, but I thought the other company might have been you. And oh man, it was crazy. So if I had not followed up with the seller that one more time, I would have missed out on the deal on this one, and it was a $27,000 profit. So what I did was I got the property under contract for $140,000. I had the option in that contract to close on the property, or an option as well to assign the property. So what I did was I actually assigned my contract. So I sold my contract to the other investor, and profited $27,000 from it. So that's the example of a wholesale transaction. And this is what I want to show you, how you can do it virtually in any market across the country, because the principles remain the same whether you are local or virtual. Okay, what are some of the obstacles of virtual wholesaling, or why do some people think this can't be done, or there's no way this would work? This just sounds like a bunch of hype, or a bunch of it just sounds like you're making things up. Well, the obstacles here is that people just have a lack of knowledge, or a fear of not knowing what to do. It can be daunting to think of dealing with a seller way over across the country somewhere, and here you are, in your market, and what are you going to do, right? There's a fear of not knowing what to do. The obstacles: getting someone on the ground, finding somebody that you can trust that can calculate repairs, take photos, show the property, working with somebody that you can trust. That's another thing that you have to overcome. And finding the best market. What market do you choose? Do you just, blindly go at this? Well, I'm going to give you some great information tonight that'll show you exactly what market you can choose, and give you what I refer to as a market guidebook to the entire country. Okay, so this is something you've never seen before. unless you've listened to me at one of the different recent seminars in Arizona, Utah, or whatever. But if you've never heard this before, I'm going to give you a market guidebook that will let you know what's going on in most major markets across the country. So hold on. And we'll talk about some marketing methods you can do, even if you have a tiny marketing budget. Well, what about funding? Some people are like, I don't have any money. I can't flip properties. I don't know where to get the money from. Well, we're gonna talk about the different funding strategies that you can use as well to get these deals funded so that you can get paid, which is the most important part, right? So let's get into it. How do you select the best city? Okay, so let's look at some of these variables here. The first one is the rent to value ratio. Okay, this can also be known as the cap rate, but this is what you want to look for. Step one, by selecting the best city. We're going to take the ratio. This ratio takes the annual amount of rent received and divide it by the price paid for the property. As an example, if a property is purchased for $100,000 and the monthly rent is $500 or $6,000 annually, then the rent to value ratio is 6%. Now, if you know anything about cap rate or anything about this, that is a horrible cap rate when it comes to rental properties. However, this is a good ratio to look for when you are looking at finding the best city. You want to check out what that ratio is so you can better judge if this is a viable market or not. Okay, appreciation. So is the property increasing in value over time? So if a property has a 5% appreciation, or let's even say a 2% appreciation, and it's a $200,000 property, well, if it's a 2% appreciation over a year, well, now we're bumping that up another $4,000. So now the property is worth $204,000 over the course of a year. You've got a $4,000 bump in your appreciation. So that is one of the factors that we need to look at. And appreciation is crazy because, you know, before the boom, it was crazy. People were just buying properties for full value and sitting on them for like 3 months. And around here, it was crazy. It would appreciate $15,000, $20,000, $25,000, and they were just making money by default because the market was so crazy. Now, that's not the case anymore, but there is appreciation in the market. And that is one of the things that you need to watch out for. And cash buyer activity. So the cash sale percentage of all transactions in any given city. So these three variables are going to help you select the best city. And I'm also going to show you another tool that you can use here as well. Okay, so do you understand the cash buyer activity? Meaning, if the percentage of transactions are cash versus conventional in a given city, we're going to see how that percentage shakes out. All right, so let's look at the top 9 virtual wholesaling cities. All right, so we've got Dallas, Fort Worth. Look at this. The rent to value ratio is 10.85%. You got appreciation at 8.69% and cash buyer activity at 44%. That is an awesome market with 44% cash buyer activity. In fact, I would look at this and I would look at cash buyer activity and say that would be the variable that I would look at the most. Look at Miami and Fort Lauderdale, 59%. Now let's look at some of these rent to value ratios. And it's interesting, right? You got it at 10.85%, but everything else is lower than that number there, than the 10%. Just for your information, when I sell a property to an investor based on cap rate, they're looking for 20 to 25%. And one way to understand cap rate as well when you're dealing with investors and people is that they are looking at it as, if I'm going to put my money in the bank, so if I was to take my money, take say $30,000, and there's actual property that I have under contract right now for $20,000, and it was a fire damaged property, and I'm thinking about going ahead and cleaning it up for $15,000 because it's just smoke damage, right? So I've got the $20,000. Let's say it takes me $15,000 to fix it up. At $35,000 being all into the property, and let's say I can rent it for $1,200 a month. So $1,200 a month times 12 is $14,400 annually. And if I buy the property for 30, and I'm all in it for $35,000, that means my cap rate is 41%. My rent to value ratio is 41%, which is amazing. Imagine a bank being able to pay you 41% on a property, or on your money. It's not going to happen. That's why that makes us as a wholesaler so valuable, because we can present properties to people and give them, and they can buy them, and they can make so much more than they would get by putting their money in a bank. That's the awesome part about buying rental properties. And when we're wholesaling and we have properties under contract and they want to buy those contracts from us because it secures a property that secures that kind of return, it's pretty amazing. So keep that in mind as you are looking at properties and different markets and things like that. Okay. Real quick, I'm going to show you something else here, and I'm going to have to stop the screen share. Let's see. All right, let's see here. I'm going to move this over here. All right, excellent. So let's take a look at this. All right, and the way you're going to find this is mgic.com. Okay, this is a market trend analysis on mgic.com. This is the latest market trend from 2017 of April. And as you can see here, it shows you every market, every major market across the country. You can kind of go and find it, and it gives you the different variables that it's looking at. So like unemployment, employment, the housing affordability index. So an estimate of housing affordability based on the price of median existing single family home, median income, mortgage rates, and assumptions concerning down payment, property taxes, and insurance. Income trend, state employment year over year change. So that's there in the map there. State home prices, year-over-year percentage of change, that's there. State home sales, year-over-year change. State delinquency of loans. So you can get an idea of what markets are starting to go delinquent, so you'll get a real big idea of what's going on in the country. And what's really cool about this, all right, what's really cool about this is that lenders use this information to decide whether a market is risky or not. And so it's going to base on what a lender is going to do. So this is great information if a lender is the one who's at risk, because they're going to base their private mortgage insurance on information like this, okay? All right, so year over year price changes. All right, let's look at this. We'll scroll down here. Here's a national overview of economic and housing indicators. You can see housing affordability, existing home sales, single family permits versus household growth. That's a cool one, right? Because that's going to show you where the builders are active. And where the builders are active is where where there's opportunities to flip land deals and develop things like that, and make a bunch of money from those kind of deals, which is pretty incredible. All right, let's see here. And this, see right here, this gives you a Northeast region little synopsis of what's going on. So I'm not going to look at every single market here, but let's look at Baltimore. So you can see the unemployment rate, the housing affordability, existing home sales, all of this is right here. So mgic.com is where you find this under the market trends, and you can get some really cool information from here. And by using multiple sources like that list of knowing where those different percentages of property appreciation and all that kind of thing are, you can make a really good choice of where you want to attack the market. So, all right, so let's get back here. Share the screen, and we're going to go back here. Over here. Okay. Well, actually, hold on a second. My fault. Okay. Cities, and I just showed you a really cool feature or guidebook that you can use, mgic.com, and you can get a lot of information around the country of what's going on, so it can help you make a decision if you're venturing out into a different market. Okay, so step number 2, listsource.com, and we're going to find the cash transactions over the last 6 months, and then we're going to look at the top 10 cash buyer zip codes, or the top cash buyer zip codes within that list. So let me show you how to do that. All right, so we're going to, and we are going to go back to list source. Make sure we've got this all set up right. Okay. So what we're going to do is we are going to go and we're going to pull a list. And this is the best way to pull the list, is to go in and you start with your geography. So for me, let's say I'm going to go with Virginia. And let's say I'm going to go with Norfolk. So all you guys that are local on here get to see me do this in my own market. All right, so we've got the city. Now we're going to go over to the property. And we're going to start at the last market sale date. And what I would say is to go back 2 years, okay? Because we are in a hot market right now. And a hot market means there are people that have been here for 2 years, and they continue buying over and over and over and over and over again. And that is what we want to see, because now we know that they are buying in areas that we can directly target, okay? So we got the last market sale date. Let's go to property type. And depending on what you want to do, let's go with duplex. Let's go with a single family. Let's go with and we could even go with vacant land too. All right, cool. So we've got that. Now let's go with year built. I recommend 1920 to 1985, but you can do that based on your own preference. So we got a last market sale date. We've got our property type. We have the year built. Now you could do this too. If you want to put assessed value in there, you could simply add that in there if you wanted to limit that. Or if you want to get an overall idea of what's going on, you can leave out assessed value, and then you could see the areas that where people are buying. All right, let's see here. So we've got our city, we got the last market sale date, we got year built, we got the property type. We want to go in here and we want to go with absentee owned. That's important. All right, so we want absentee owned, and we are going to we want corporate owned properties. A lot of because we want to see the buyers over and over and over again, right? And then we're going to go over here to both mailing and property address complete. All right, and now we can come in here and we can purchase the list. So I went ahead and purchased this list. Well, actually, wait, before we do that, let me show you something. Okay, depending on your budget, remember like we talked about having a smaller budget and things like that, I'm going to show you how you can go in here and you can pick out the hottest zip codes without having to buy this list first, okay? So we're going to come over here and go purchase partial list. And we're going to come in here and do custom. And we're going to go zip code. Now look at this. Now we can see where the most activity is going on in the area. See, I know for a fact in my area that these are hot areas right here, 23513 and 23518, as you can see, and 23503. So if I know this and I have a small budget, am I going to target this area at 23517 or 23507, knowing that the activity is extremely low over there? No, of course not. But now I know I'm able to buy the list or the area that has the most activity. Now, if that doesn't apply to you and you want to go in and buy everything, you can do that. You just go back here to all leads, go to append output fields, and you can purchase the list. But I went ahead and purchased the list. Now, I'm going to show you something here that's pretty cool. All right, let's see. Let's go ahead. To my list here. Okay, cool. All right. So this is that list that I just bought a little earlier, actually. But I wanted you to see it so you can see how you can sort through this, okay? So if you sort this list, and we do a custom sort, and we come over here and just sort it by label name and do A to Z, it's going to put all these names together, or it's going to stack them all together, all the duplicates. right? Because we don't want to eliminate the duplicates because then we wouldn't be able to see the buyers, right? That are buying over and over and over again. But I could come in here now that I have this list and just eyeballing it, because we don't have time to analyze it 100% here, but just eyeballing it, you can see this guy's bought a few. Norfolk Building Corp, they've bought quite a few. Here's one, PPH LLC, they've bought a few. Let's see. This guy, Mr. Weatherington, he's bought some. Oh, some of my company right there. All right, well, let's see here. Watch this. If we go here to this list here, let's move over. Let's just see. I'm just curious where they bought. So we come in here. Let's see if we see any zip code. Well, look at that. See, all that's in zip code 23508. So that one buyer likes to buy in 23508. Interesting, right? So yeah, so once you download this list, now you've got a list that is true and the numbers don't lie. These are actual buyers that are buying properties and for certain prices in certain areas. And now you've got this entire list right at your disposal, so you don't have to guess anymore. So with this list now, it's almost like your perfect buyer's list because it's everybody that's buying and doing stuff in the market, and it's right here at your disposal. So that is how you buy or you sort that list, and how you go ahead and let's go back to the webinar. All right, I'm glad you guys are here with me. This is good stuff. This stuff takes the guesswork out of it and makes it something that's tangible and something that is really doable, rather than maybe this person will buy a property, maybe they won't. What do I do if I get a property under contract and I don't want to buy it and I want to assign it? Well, here's that opportunity. All right, so let's look at some of these marketing channels here of ways of targeting these motivated sellers. Well, you've got PPC advertising, and PPC advertising stands for pay per click advertising. And I'm going to show you here really quick the way that works. Just really, really quick. Learn on here how to stop having to unshare and then share again. But let's go ahead. Up here to, okay. So this right here is a pay-per-click campaign that I am currently running. So this is Google AdWords. Now, obviously, if you know the way Google works, and it's being a little bit slow right now, but if you go on Google, you can type in, let's try this, sell house fast. Well, that's thinking. We'll come back over here. But with pay-per-click, this is the amount I've spent over the last 30 days, $2,000, and I've paid about $196 a lead with a 14% conversion ratio, okay? This can be a little bit overwhelming targeting with pay-per-click, but this is one of the ways to do it, and it's an effective way because people go online and they will type in sell my house fast and they'll find you, and you can pretty much target any area across the country with pay-per-click. So one of my sites that I use is faircashoffer.com, like I showed you. And I got a lead the other day. In fact, the guy called me from, came in from Oklahoma, And I never met him. I never looked at the property, but I knew it was an area that there was a lot of activity because I went back and I looked at my list, right? And my list showed me that there were buyers out there. So I got the property under contract for $20,000. I have the option where I can tear the house down and build a new one for $235,000, or I can sell it for $30,000, $35,000 and make $15,000. But that's all because I had an AdWords campaign set up. Now, AdWords can be very expensive, but part I'm going to show you as well is I'll show you a way where we can get you a list that has the most converting keywords, so you don't have to waste a lot of money with that. Another way to target is with strategic direct mail. Okay, so here's one of the things that you can use. Online, we've got a whole area set up where you can go in and you can use mail like this. You can go in and you can set it up with, let's say you want to do a probate style letter. You could do a simple, let's see here, using an advanced editor. You can come in here and you can edit these letters to make them say what you want to say. Which is really, really cool because you don't have to worry about, well, how do I get this letter out and all this kind of stuff. So for people that are just trying to get out the door with stuff, this is a really good option, right? Because you could come in here and you can build a postcard, or you can use a postcard that's already done. It's all here in this mail center. And actually, I'll show you a way where you can get access to this mail center, and you can use any one of these postcards and get them out the door very, very quickly, because the speed of implementation is key. Once you're able to download that list and get that list and then turn around and then target the properties that fit that list, you are going to be able to target it. So that is absolutely amazing that you don't have to guess on where to mail, because you can go in and mail what I call the perfect property avatar, which fits exactly what the market is calling for. And you can use mail to do that. This is just one of the ways you can do it. You can use click to mail if you want to save some money, or you can use a more done for you option like this. And that option is there as well. Okay, there's also, there's free ways to find distressed sellers, okay? Here's one of them. HUD Home Store. Really awesome that you can use this site to find properties that are distressed. And you can make offers on these properties all day long. Now, HUD, the problem with HUD is that their inventory is not, it's not a huge inventory. So you just have to watch it every day, but it's a free way to go about doing things. Another way that you can go about doing things is the good old famous Zillow, right? You could come in here and if you're really motivated, you can come in and you can search for properties. So let's say I know my hot zip code is this one right here, 23513. I can come in here and I can search around, and I could go listing type, and I could get rid of the agent and get rid of new construction and foreclosures, and I can go in here and I could see properties that are listed by owner, right? Well, look at this one here. I'm looking now. Looking at this real time while I'm talking to you. and you can come in here and you can look at these properties, and if you wanted to, you can make offers on these properties. You can call these sellers up directly, or email them or message them, and you can make offers. It's free. Anybody can do it. So if you don't have a big budget, you can use the strategies that I'm talking about right here about finding the hot zip codes and then targeting the hot zip codes, whether you're going to do it through mail or whether you're going to do it through free methods like Craigslist, Zillow, or HUD and things like that. It all depends and comes down to your motivation and what you want to do, because you can have all the motivation in the world and no money, and you can make calls. Another thing you can do is, let me show you this, peoplesearch.com. Okay. So if you don't have any money, what you can do is go down to the courthouse and you can find the probate leads, and you can use People Search to come in here and make calls. Find who the executor is and make phone calls to them directly and ask them if they're looking to sell their house. You can do that too. So if you don't have any money, you can use these free methods, and that's how it works. You either have money to market, or you have to you either have time to market. And there are opportunities where you can do both. It just depends on where you're at in your life at this particular time. So there's some free ways that you can find distressed sellers, as well as paid with using strategic direct mail and using pay-per-click. All right, so step 4, finding someone you can trust to partner with. HUD Home Store, really good place to go, because you have reliable people that are realtors, and they are people that are dealing with distressed properties, so they understand how it works. So you can approach some of these people and ask them to be somebody that you can work with as your boots on the ground. Let me show you real quick. And here we go again. You can find a broker, and let's say I'm virtual, right? So the property I got in Washington, and let's see, what was the name of that city that that property is in? Hold on a second here. I'm looking for the name of this or the city that this property is in. Let's see here. Actually, it is in Bow, Washington. In Bow, Washington, there's no HUD brokers. All right, so let's go here in Virginia. And then let's look in Norfolk. This is the zip code that I was just showing you. Okay. Well, there you go. There are some HUD brokers as well as their phone numbers. And look at this. There's list after list after list after list of potential HUD people or brokers that you could potentially work with. I'm going to give you a tip now. Don't look for the broker that's been there forever. You're looking for a newer person that you can work with that's hungry, that's trying to get into the business, and wants to work with somebody, because they're not at the point where they're like, oh, I don't need to work with anybody because I've been here so long and I make all this money. You want the new blood. So keep that in mind. Okay. So that is one way that you can use HUD Home Store to find some brokers that you can work with. Here. Facebook groups. Well, obviously, wholesaling houses full time. 30 33,000 people, I think, is what we have in there right now. You can find somebody that you can work with very, very easily with that. Craigslist, again, another place where you can find somebody that you can partner with potentially. All right, step 5. Now, after we've located a property, whether it's a free market or a free method or a paid method, we have to, number 1, determine the distress level. Okay, we need to determine whether this is somebody that needs to sell or somebody that wants to sell, and that is extremely important. You either need to sell or want to sell. Okay, and there are scripts and things that we have. I'll show you how you can get them, where you can target the right questions with sellers to find out what their true motivation is, so that you can get to the point of locking the property up over the phone. Okay, so need to sell, we make an offer over the phone. If they want to sell, I can show you where you can get, we send them a specific presentation that goes over the benefits of why they should work with us versus maybe going with a realtor or any other option or any other company, kind of like a credibility packet, if you will. So you've got a need to sell and a want to sell. It's very important that if you don't know how to talk to a seller, that you do stick to a script, okay? A script can take somebody that doesn't know what they're doing, and if they're able to implement a script, it can take them to exactly where they want to go. So if you ever seen the movie The Wolf of Wall Street, that was the big thing with Jordan Belfort, right? He was like, I took these people that were absolute losers and made them absolute winners and killers by giving him a script. And the script is what they used. They said it was their harpoon to go out and get the whales, is what they referred to them as. You know, it's the same thing when it comes to any kind of sales presentation or any kind of sales. You're dealing with sellers. If you don't know what you're doing, a script is incredibly powerful in doing that. However, being on this webinar, I'll give you some tips here on some things that you can do with a seller. Here you go. You want to wow them, okay? And you wow them by finding, what do they want? Number 1, what do they want? So when you're talking to a seller, you go through the regular process of just talking to them in general and seeing what the real situation is. But then you got to get down to, well, what is it you want for the property? Okay, great. Now we know that they want $50,000. Well, what do you owe? That's the next thing. So in the wow formula, what do they want? How much do they owe? And what it's worth. How much do they think it's worth? Because that's important too, because that's going to set the expectation of whether they're prepared to take an offer like we need to make in order for this, in order for it to work out for them. So keep that in mind. But I'm going to show you as well where you can get that script, exactly what I'm talking about. Okay. Podio. Here's a place where I keep all of my seller leads when they come into the system. This is where I keep my seller leads, and the process and how it works and how they filter through the system is pretty awesome, because they will, there's no lead left behind. They're in the system. I don't forget about them. And from the point of the offer to the follow-up to sending out the contract, all of that is all done through Podio. And it's really cool because you can access on your phone. You can access it on Android. It's right there at any time, wherever you are, whether you're in your house, in front at your desk, or out in the field, or out on vacation, you can access Podio. And there's an app suite that comes along with that that you can get and be set up with a full running, full-blown Podio account and start running your leads through that immediately. Okay, so now, after we've gone through this, we have to determine repairs, all right? How do you determine repairs if you are not in the market? Well, you can use wegolook.com. wegolook.com. They will go out there and they will take pictures for you for a certain fee. So check them out, wegolook.com. Another thing you can do is use the repair formula multiplier, okay? So what this is, without getting too technical about, what exactly needs to be done from a construction standpoint, if you're talking to the seller and finding out, what is the kitchen updated? Is the bathroom updated? When's the last time you updated the HVAC? When's the last time you went in and redid the floors? Whatever it is, as you're talking to the seller, you will get a general idea of whether this property is a complete junker or it is just maybe needs a little bit of repairs, okay? So you want to use a property square footage number of a multiplier of 8 and up to $20 a square foot. So if you have 1,000 square foot property, to make this easy, at $8 a square foot, if it's a light fixer-upper, that's $8,000. If it's a 1,000 square foot property and it's a complete beater, it could be up to $20, $20,000, right? $20 a square foot times 1,000 is $20,000, so $20,000. The point is, you don't necessarily want to get wrapped up in the small details of it, but you just want a ballpark that you can work with and that you can go off of. There's also a repair sheet, a repair worksheet. I'm going to show that to you here real quick, that when you're all right, let's see here. Because it's when you're talking to a seller, these are some things you want to go over briefly, and this also gives you just some brief repair cost calculations as well that you can use when you're trying to figure out what that repair cost is, and when you're talking to a seller. But believe me, if you're dealing with somebody that's motivated, like I was just dealing with earlier or later last week, a lot of this stuff goes out the window and all comes about motivation. But for those of us that like the small details and things like that, you can use this and you can work through it, and it will really help you come up with a number of what what a repair cost would be. So this is something that will help you not miss things, right? So maybe you went in there and it needs a new roof, but you forgot to check off that it needed windows. Well, windows, $150 a window. And by figuring that, it will give you a general idea of what this property needs. Again, we're not trying to get specific, because ultimately it's it comes down to whoever's the end buyer is going to be and what they're thinking about the property and things like that. So, and I'll show you where you can get this this spreadsheet from as well. Okay. All right. So moving on. You need a closing company that's going to understand an assignment of contract or a double close or simultaneous close or whatever type of funding strategy you are going to go with for the deal. So First American Title, Stewart Title, American Title, Fidelity. These are the main title companies all across the country. But a really good way of finding a good closing company would be, you could go to HUD Home Store like I just showed you, and you can ask for a referral from there. You can look at meetup.com and you can contact an investor in there. You can go to my wholesaling group, Wholesaling Houses Full Time, and you can ask, hey, is there a title company in this particular market that's investor friendly? So there's a lot of good ways to find the closing companies that you're going to need to close these deals and get them done. All right, finding a cash buyer. Website, posting on the top 5 online real estate listing sites, using Meetup like I talked about, and email syndication. Let me show you something really quick that you can use. Your property in front of as many people as possible. There's a lot of different realtors that are subscribed to this, okay? So you can go in any market across the country and get a list, an email list of all of the realtors in that area or in that particular zip code. So you can use eCampaign Pro to help you find a realtor that you can work with, or find a realtor that potentially has a buyer that you can work with. So working with realtors is a good thing, and this is one way that can help you, that you can work with in order to get your properties moved. Realtors are great, so don't be afraid of them. All right. So going in through that exact list, like I showed you in the beginning of the webinar, you can use that list and contact those people directly. And you can, without mentioning a property specifically or a specific address, you can say, hey, I saw you bought a property over on Main Street. I've got a property that I'm working with that's very similar area. Would you be interested in this particular property for an investment? So there are a lot of different ways that you can find cash buyers, but that cash buyer list, like I talked about, having that is huge. And just because you'll be able to see what people are paying. Now, here's something else to keep in mind, and I'm going to show you something. Let's go here and look at our well, let's go here first. Let's go ahead and do a auto fit column width. Let's go in here and look, where is it? We're looking for our last market sale price. Here it is. Okay, so the last market sale price, you can see all these numbers here, right? Like this one, 38,000, looks nice and cheap, right? You can assume that a lot of these don't have the assignment fee built into them, okay? Because an assignment fee is not of public record. So when you sell a property, or I'm sorry, when these investors buy these properties, there's a good chance they're buying it from an investor or a wholesaler, and there could be another $10,000, $15,000 built into that fee. So actually the number that they bought it for could really have been 48, 53, 55,000. Okay? So keep that in mind when you are looking at properties and then looking at these sale prices to see what people are paying. It's very, very important that that you do that, because you don't want to be looking at properties that are too low or offering prices that are too low and pricing yourself out of the market. So keep that in mind. And I apologize for that, but this should be figure out what's going on with the potential with the market over there and what people are willing to pay and all that kind of stuff. What you want to do is you can work with that realtor to help you coordinate with your boots on the ground, set a 30-minute window. And you know, some people think you should create a big buying frenzy, but for me, if somebody's willing to give you the price for the contract that you want, you can take it. rather than trying to say, well, this person will pay this, and then, you know, trying to pit one person against the other and all that kind of stuff. If somebody gives me my asking price for a contract, I will go ahead and take it. All right, so let's talk about getting paid, the fun part, right? There are a couple different ways that you can get paid, or 3 different ways. Assignment of contract. So basically, we're selling our contract. We get a property under contract for $50,000. We decide that we want to go ahead and assign the contract. To do that, we can say, hey, we have a contract on a property. The contract is for $50,000, and we're looking to sign or sell our interest in that property for $10,000. So the buyer is actually buying the property for $60,000. That's an assignment of contract. You can do a double escrow. Now, it depends on the area you're in or where you're at, but you can use the buyer's funds to fund both sides of a transaction. If, depending on your area, again, check with a local attorney and all that, you can either do that, or you can use a transactional funding source like Velocity Capital, like I was talking about, and you can do a 100% no credit bridge loan. So nobody's going to be looking at your credit. Nobody's going to be looking at your job or lack of it or anything like that, income statements or anything like that. It's all going to be based on the property itself. So if you have an A to B contract, which is between you and a seller, and you have a B to C contract, which is between you and your buyer, you can contact somebody like Velocity Capital, and we can get that funding lined up for you to close the deal. So that is really cool. All right. So hopefully you've enjoyed all of this information here with regards to finding deals and finding the market and seeing how this all works. But the awesome thing about virtual wholesaling, right, is that this can be done while you're on vacation. I was on vacation with my family. This is back in February. We were at Disney World, and I remember we were running in between the different attractions and things like that. And I had a lead that came into my Podio. It hit me on the phone, and it said, and I went ahead and forwarded that information out to my boots on the ground. They met with the seller, they got the property under contract, and immediately I knew it was a deal that we could make some money on. So we actually assigned our contract, made $7,000, and we moved on down the road. So this can be done from anywhere. It can be done from the beach. It can be done from home. You could be working in your own home rather than having to punch a clock in an office, rather having to go somewhere where you hate or you don't want to deal with the people in the office. But this can all be done at home. I work from home, and my kid, it's awesome because, awesome and can be distracting at times too, because the kids run in on me while I'm doing things. But it can be done from home, and I can spend time with my family at any time that I want. If I want to pick up and go, I can do that. This morning I went to my kids' awards ceremony and did that instead of being stuck behind a desk or just hoping I could get free. But because I work from home and do this virtually, I was able to do that. And imagine this world is your market. You're not confined to one market. You can do this all over the country, anywhere you choose. You feel like you have a competitive market? Well, you can look out into different markets in different areas, and you don't have to feel like I don't know what I'm doing or I'm a fish out of water, because the numbers show you exactly what's going on in your market. And I just showed you exactly how you can do that. And you can scale your business to however much you want, because you can go from your market to a market 2 hours north of you and a market 2 hours south of you. At one point in my business, I had a virtual markets in Richmond and North Carolina in my market, and I've done deals in New Jersey. It's all comes down to where you are at and what you want to do. Really, you can scale this thing because if you're in your own local market and you're trying to go deep into the market, you're trying to do all these different marketing avenues, and you're trying to figure out what way to market, and do I need to go after foreclosures? Do I need to go after probate? Do I need to go after bankruptcy? Whatever it is, you're thinking you have to go after all these different things. But if you do the virtual model, you can just pick the low-hanging fruit in some of the hottest markets around and not have to try to dig into your own market, exhausting all different efforts. It's the difference between going wide and going deep. And virtual wholesaling can help you get there. See, here's the market that deal I was telling you about that was in New Jersey. So this seller actually called one of my brand, my 1-800-FAIR offer brand. The seller needed cash. We offered $175. We sold the property for $305. We actually took this property down. Okay, so that means we got the money, got the loan, took the property down, put the market on the property, sold it for $305, and had a profit of $130,000 when it was said and done. Okay. And you look at this and you're like, no way, this is not possible. I can't do this, right? It all comes down to what you set as your perception is what becomes reality, right? Because I could say to you, you could say, no, I can't do that. And I'll say, well, you're correct. Or you'll say, yeah, I can do that. And I'll say, yeah, you can do it. You are correct. You can do it. So perception is reality, but this is my reality. These are deals that I do, and it's changed my life. Okay. This is what you are looking for. And I've said this before, if you've been in my Facebook group, all it takes is one, right? All it takes is one deal to get you on the right track. All it takes is one deal to put you in a spot where you believe that this will finally work for you and give you the life that you're looking for. And it's not just me. This guy, Clive, he says, thank you, Sean Terry. Sean Terry is my partner on this, on Major Market Domination. But he's out in New Zealand, and he's actually been a student of ours for quite some time, and he did a deal out in New Zealand for $8,500. He lives in New Zealand, but does deals here in Florida. Amazing. This guy, Mike, in Virginia, not a big deal, but it was his first virtual deal that he did. It was about $1,000. Mike from Virginia. And this guy is pretty amazing. Okay, this guy did a virtual HUD flip. Okay, so he used the free method. He went in with the free method and found a HUD deal and flipped it. He purchased for $241, sold it for $420, made $153,000. That is amazing. And this is possible. This can be your reality as well. Okay? You might have said that $130,000 flip that I did, well, maybe that was just a once in a lifetime kind of thing, right? Here's another one, okay? This one was in North Carolina. I bought the property for $100,000. I actually took the deal down, okay? So I had the financing, took the deal down, and I sold the property for $200,000, and we made $100,000 on the deal, okay? This, I never met with the seller. I talked to them on the phone. I had boots on the ground in the area. Okay, so I actually talked to the seller over the phone, agreed on the price of $100,000, and then we listed the I believe we listed the property on this one, but my boots on the ground actually found the buyer and put this one together. We made $100,000 on it, which is awesome. And why would you think a seller would sell for so low? Well, turns out they actually had a contract similar to the price or very close to the price that we sold it for. But it fell out because there was a lot of termite damage and things like that. So they just figured, well, I guess we need to get a cash sale or we need a cash deal. And that was the case. Made an offer, solved their problem, and made money doing it. It was a win-win deal, which is what we're looking to do, right? Well, how would you like me to personally walk you through the 9-step virtual wholesaling blueprint to pull 50,000 out of any major market in the US? That is why I created, with Sean Terry, the Major Market Domination course. Let's take a look at the different weeks of what we'll be covering here, and then how you can take advantage of it if you are interested. Okay, week number 1, we're going to look at how to find a super hot city in detail. I just showed you tonight how you can get into it and pull that list. And from what I showed you tonight, you can go into any city and find a super hot city with the information I gave you tonight. But we'll go into detail and how you can drill down into that list and really find the areas that you can target. We'll talk about how to locate the top buyer zip codes and how to find the perfect property avatar. The perfect property avatar is key because that stops you from wasting your marketing dollars, because you will target only the properties that fit the criteria of what the market is demanding. We'll also talk about how to set up the top 3 marketing campaigns. So we'll look at direct mail, the type of postcards that we use that we have the most luck with, as well as the pay-per-click marketing, things like that. We'll talk about how to set up a website, how to set up Google AdWords in detail, how to generate the perfect mailing list, and how to pick the right mail piece, how to set up your free lead generation systems as well. Week 2, which is steps 4 and 5, we'll talk about how to find someone you trust on the ground. We went over that a little bit today, but we'll cover that more in detail, how to structure the right deal with that person. Do you give 50%? Do you give 30%? Do you just pay a commission? How do you work it? How to make offers over the phone, to find the sellers that need to sell. We'll go over the script and the repairs on how to get that price down and where we need to get it to where we can make money. What to send sellers that just want to sell. So we'll give you that exact credibility packet to send to them, and how to follow up and get the deal signed. We'll talk about how to find the right closing company, how to get floods of buyers to your property or where to find them, how to show the property and get buyers to commit to purchase, and what to get to the property, or what to get the property closed, the 3 different funding strategies that you can choose from. Week 4 is awesome because we talked to some real life case studies of virtual deals going on. One of the guys we're talking, his name is Raphael. I was blown away by what this guy is doing in the DC market. So listen to our different students' case studies, and you'll get full questions and answers to all the questions you might have. So if you're interested, flipwithalex.com. Major Market Domination is a $15.97 value, but you're not going to have to pay that tonight. But flipwithalex.com is where you can take advantage of it. But I'm going to give you 5 big bonuses that you can go with this, okay? I told you that I'm partners with Sean Terry on Velocity Capital, and it's a place where you can get 100% financing on your transactional funding as well as POFs. So that's Sean Terry's site that I partner with on him, and you can get unlimited POFs and financing from that. That's a $9.97 value. I'll give you the opportunity to JV with me, with my national buyers list that I have. So if you've got a deal and you want to JV, you will be able to do it. Sean Terry as well has a massive list all across the country. And if you've got a deal that you want to JV, we can do that with you and help get that deal moved. We've also got a private members only Facebook group where you can have access to talk to other people that are in the program and doing deals as well, which is awesome because a mastermind Facebook group is just awesome. Being able to relate with people that are on the same journey with you and doing things and encountering the same struggles, and you can help pull each other through it. So far, let's recap what you get. Okay, you're going to get major market domination. You're going to get access to the 100% financing and an unlimited POFs, and the ability to sell to our national buyers list, and have access to the private-only members Facebook group. If you're interested, that's flipwithalex.com, flipwithalex.com, and everything so far is a 95.88 value. Look at this story. This guy, Glenn, from Facebook, he messaged in. He said his first wholesaling check from a deal completed about 3 weeks ago. He's in Dallas, but he flipped a HUD house, again, using a free method in Pittsburgh. And he just said it was so awesome from successfully flipping a house 1,200 miles away without ever visiting the property and without ever visiting the city and without ever meeting the buyer. He made $14,546 in his first 3 weeks. So congratulations, Glenn. All right, bonus number 4. You will get to download my huge vault of forms and contracts, which include the residential purchase contract when selling, assignment of contract option agreement with the seller, a 15-day flex option, authorization to release information, wholesale property analysis form, wrap property analysis form, buyer lead sheet script, seller lead sheet script, and weekly activity log and monthly activity log, all there for you to download in the members area. So any kind of form you can think about, we pretty much have it. Okay, bonus number 5. We're also going to give you to download the most cutting edge spreadsheets in this business. So marketing income analyzer, you want to know how to figure out how much marketing you need to spend to how much you're going to make. Well, you can use this to gain clarity on how to produce income at will. So if you spend $1,500 a month, well, this is what you're going to expect in leads. And then from the leads to the appointments that you get, from the appointments that you get to the contracts and so forth. And that spreadsheet is there for you to download. The lead to income tracker, the lead to income project worksheet, a wholesale offer generator, and a residential fix and flip deal analyzer. So you'll know the exact cost and profit on any potential fix and flip. It's all there in the members area for you to download. Awesome resource to have. All right, so let's recap what you get. The major market domination, $1,597. Access to 100% financing, $997. The JV, sell to a national buyers list, it's $49.97 to have access to a resource like that or for us to JV with you. Access private members only Facebook group, $19.97. The download the forms and contracts, $497. And the most cutting edge spreadsheets, $497. That's a $10,582 value. And flipwithalex.com if this is something that you want to get started with right away, flipwithalex.com. All right. What if you're the type of person where you just don't think you need help like this to help you get through to that next deal? You can be out there, you could be testing marketing campaigns, you can be losing a lot of different money, losing money trying different kinds of campaigns and different postcards and different letters and not knowing what to say to a seller, or not knowing how to offer and calculate repairs, or not selling for the highest price possible. There's a lot of money that you can lose here if you do not do things correctly. You can be unorganized and lose deals. You can trust the wrong people, structure the wrong deal with the wrong partner. You might value a property wrong, or not knowing how to get paid on the funding side. These are all things that could potentially go wrong. And I'm giving you the opportunity here to where you can work with us so that you don't have to worry about these things. You know, you look at the price of the course and you go to flipwithalex.com, you'll see the amazing price that we have it listed for right now, but nothing is more expensive than a missed opportunity. You can lose thousands if you simply do the wrong thing or act without the proper guidance and help that you need. So what's the total investment after this promo is complete? It'll be $1,597 one time. But today, 73% off. $497, one-time investment of $497, flipwithalex.com. That's flipwithalex.com. What if this? What if you took this course and it was just that one thing that bumped you in the right direction? What if this was the thing, the course that you invest in today pointed you in the direction to help you see that this is something that could be your reality. This is something that could change your life. This is something that could give you that freedom from that job that you're looking for. This is something that could help you buy back that time. This is something that can help you spend time with the family or not be chained to a job that you hate. What if this was that one thing that pointed you in that right direction? It's amazing. I mean, some of the students that we've worked with, we've seen people that are just trying to get things right and trying to get things going, and it wasn't happening, and they just took that one step, that one leap of faith, and it was that put them over the edge. What if that was today? Total investment today. Class starts today. You can go in there, download, and get started today immediately. Flipwithalex.com. 73% off the price at $497. One time. $497. One time. Flipwithalex.com. And I stand behind my product. So if you try the system for 60 days and you're not 100% satisfied with it, no questions asked, no hassle, no refund, we'll give you a refund. If you follow the system exactly and don't make 3 times your money back in the first 60 days, we'll refund you. And if you feel that's not the most incredible opportunity you've ever seen in the first 60 days, we will refund every dime. Okay? Frankly, if you don't have success with it and you don't feel it's worth it, we don't want your money. So it's a one-time investment today of $497, flipwithalex.com, flipwithalex.com, and this is everything you get. The major market domination, $15.97. A bonus, access to 100% financing with the limited POFs through Velocity Capital, Sean's site, JV. You can sell to our national buyers list once you have a deal. Access to private members-only Facebook group. Download my huge vault of forms and contracts, and the most cutting-edge spreadsheets that will help your business start treating your business, your real estate investing like a business rather than a hobby, and those spreadsheets will help you do exactly that. And that's flipwithalex.com, a $10,582 value, and you can get it today, flipwithalex.com, for one time, $497, total investment, 73% off the price, flipwithalex.com. You have a 60% or 60-day money-back guarantee. So guys, as you're going over there, check it out. If there are any questions that you have here for me, I will go ahead and open up the chat for you guys. So flipwithalex.com, flipwithalex.com, and check it out. And I've unmuted the chat. If you have any questions, feel free to ask now. With regards to the program. Well, thanks, Jay. I appreciate it. I tried to be helpful, and I hope you got a lot out of it. All right. So how can you be sure realtors' boots on the ground won't steal your deal? Okay. Good question, Shiloh. So when you're working with a realtor, okay, you're going to have the deal under contract with the seller. Now, there's a couple different ways you can do it. You can have the realtor go out there and look at the property, but chances are they're not going to steal that deal from you, because if they do, you're never going to work with them again, and they would be a fool. They would be a fool to do that. Let me see here if I can, let's see. Guys, you see me? All right, cool. Yeah, they would be a fool to try to take your deal. And it makes no sense for them to do that. Let's see, deal analysis. So, as far as deal analysis, we're going to go over that in the training itself, and that spreadsheet in there is really helpful with regards to that. So keep that in mind when you go check out those spreadsheets. So are you using a realtor and then going to list the property with them to sell it? No. So no, I don't use a realtor to list the property. But I use them to be my boots on the ground to help me with it because obviously as a realtor, they've got access to investors in the area. Different areas of distresses that you should focus on. Okay, so when I show you in the course how to work this, how to work this, you are going to not target specific distress like probate, foreclosure or anything like that. You're going to target a certain portion of the market that fits a certain square footage, a certain year built, and a certain type of property. So in this situation, we're looking for what the buyers are paying, the tax assessment, the value of the properties, and then we're reverse engineering and then targeting that way. Spreadsheet comes along with the course, flipwithalex.com, flipwithalex.com. Thank you very much, Juanita. I appreciate that. Flipwithalex.com. So special rates with list source. Yes, I buy a lot of different lists from all over the country. So yeah, I do have a little special rate with them. I do not manage my own PPC. I have somebody that does that for me because it can be difficult, but I can give you a referral on that if you're looking for somebody to help with the PPC on that. But all right, or how much do I spend a day with you? I'll fly over from NYC. Well, Jamil, private message me on Facebook, and we can talk about that. Do I pay realtor's commission? I pay realtor commission. So if a realtor is able to hook me up, then I have no problem paying them a referral fee or a commission, or especially for listing the property with them, I'll pay a commission. Flipwithalex.com is not the email address. That is the website where you can get signed up with the course, flipwithalex.com. Thanks, Jamil. All right, guys, I'm going to cut it off here. It's been fun. I appreciate each and every one of you being on this call, and I look forward to working with you. Flipwithalex.com. I'll see you guys in the Facebook group.